You have a big movie coming out, Independence Day Resurgence. It's going to be released on June 24th. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where this movie picks up from the original?
Okay, well, it's an exact 20-year continuation. So, Roland's, it is a sequel, but he's not really considering it a sequel because, the storyline is exactly where it should be. I played Dylan Hiller, who is now obviously 20 years older, and he's followed in Dad's footsteps. He's a fighter pilot. After the first attack, we lost billions and billions of people, so now the world is reunited, and all the nations have come together and created this new division of the military they call the Earth Space Defense now, and I'm the captain of the Earth Space Defense. And basically what that is we're just only been focusing on extraterrestrial interaction, and whether it be, friend or foe. So that's basically where we are at the beginning of the film, and everybody's kind of talking about, what's been going on. You get to see some relationships that you saw, in the first film, and we kind of introduced some new characters.
This is such a iconic franchise. The first movie was so popular. Did I read that you picked up this role essentially at the gym? You just kind of jokingly said, hey, I should be in that, and picked up this role at the gym. Could you talk a little about that?
That's true. I was training for the second season of Survivor Remorse, and at the time, my trainer is also a personal trainer for Harold Closer, who is a producer and a composer and a friend of Roland Emmerich's. So, we were kind of sharing stories after we made a formal introduction, and I told him what I was doing at the time, and he said, he was in pre-preparation for Independence Day, the sequel. And, kind of just jokingly, I was like, oh, you should put me in that. And, I've seen him a few times, and I left to go shoot my season. And when I got back, I had been told that, Roland Emmerich wanted to, sit down and talk with me because Harold had brought me up in conversation and said, I like this kid's energy, his persona, and I felt like he could play Dylan. And then I met with Roland agreed, and here we are.
How surprised were you that initial conversation led to that?
You know what? That's how it happened. It's crazy to believe that a movie like this and a role like this can be placed from something like that. But when you're dealing with guys like Roland and Harold, they care a lot about people, like who you are as a person, and what you're like outside the camera, and then. They know they're so good at what they do. They know they can get whatever performance out of you that they need. So it was shocking when I got the official word because they had told me that they were thinking about moving forward and that they liked me to play Dylan and this and that. But it still came out of nowhere. There was no we're going to send a deal memo and, this and all that, all the formal stuff. It's very informal. Well, even our first meeting was informal, so I can only expect that, right?
Right. Stephen Hiller, who was played by Will Smith, and Jasmine Dubrow, who's played by Vivica A. Fox. Given your on-screen parentage, did you feel a sense of pressure stepping into this role of living up to a certain performance level?
A little bit. Most of it was, self-induced. I've been a big fan of Will and Vivica for a long time. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is my favorite show, and there was a lot of people, who always make comparisons, like, oh, what's Dylan going to be like in comparison to Steven and this and that, and how's the movie going to be without Will? And but honestly, when I got on set and I seen how confident everybody was in me, I kind of adapted that confidence and just was able to do, what they had me to do and just perform.
This film deals with the topic of possible human extinction as alien technology and all these things have evolved. Have you ever thought about that concept in real life of spaceships coming to Earth and us as a society getting to that point?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it because it's such large scale and it seems far-fetched, but it's not really at the same time when you think about it. And, we always try to think, what would we do? Where would we go? How would we, try to survive? Would we make friends with them or whatever the case may be? But you just never know.
In the film, you are starring alongside, you've got Liam Neeson, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman. a very stellar cast and talented group to work with. In your young
Yeah.
career, did they impart any advice to you during the course of filming?
Yeah, there was a lot of things. Luckily, it was one of those movie sets where in between shots, not everybody was like running back to their trailers all the time. And we kind of just all sat around and we would just talk. And, just we got a lot of stories from the original cast about what it was like shooting the film and what happened at the premiere and, how things have changed over the last 20 years for them. And mostly, the film is going to be whatever the film will be. And they were making sure that, we were prepared, I guess you could say, because they have an idea of what's to come, but I can only imagine.
I read that you're a real deal food guy. You're a culinary student or professional. Did you get a chance to cook for the cast while you were doing some of these sit-arounds?
I'm sure they wish I did, but no, I didn't get a chance to cook for the cast. Maybe after the movie comes out, I'll do a dinner party or something like that. I feel like they might appreciate it.
Can we all come to the dinner party? Because I'm available. Can we all?
Of course.
Come?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that Karen hits you up, and so we can do like a big, massive dinner party and celebrate or something for the premiere.
Oh, okay. As long as you're cooking, that's good. I'll bring a bottle of wine.
Oh, of course. If there's a kitchen around, I'm getting in it.
And before we wrap it up, Survivor's Remorse. Everybody loves you on that show. I have one question for me and one question from Twitter. When I told folks I was interviewing you, what's going on with Cam Calloway? Anything you can divulge before it returns on July 24th?
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot to the Calloway doing. Cam, at the end of the second season, Uncle Julius gets into that accident, and it kind of just sends the family into this whirlwind. Just when everything seemed perfect, you know what I mean? That's kind of when things hit the fan. But in this season, we get pretty deep actually in some self-evaluation. We start digging up some history and finding old family members and doing all kinds of stuff, and start focusing on things other than just money and fame and whatever. We start finding out like who we are as people, like our core. Cam specifically starts to feel like, that his purpose isn't just to be a great basketball player. He wants to know like what other marks can he leave on the world, and that kind of leads him into some crazy. But there's a whole lot that goes on. There's a lot about love and a lot about religion and a lot about, family, and it's just some really good stuff.
All right. And finally, one question from Twitter. One of our followers wants to know, how much input did Maverick Carter have into the Survivor's Remorse script?
Oh, Maverick is very hands-on with us. Very hands-on. We see Maverick quite often. He's there a lot in the preseason in stages of development. We get a lot of our inside scoop from Maverick and his colleagues. And he's been with LeBron the whole way. He's kind of just walked, right beside him, and he's done a lot of really massive things for him in this industry. They've grown in incredible ways. And it's also, he comes to set and he just talks to us too, like the actors, and we're going to going on inside the head of Maverick Carter because he's on top of the game right now. He's doing all kinds of stuff. But he's one of the more hands-on executive producers that we have.
Awesome. Well, Jessie, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the film, looking forward to another season of Survivor's Remorse, and I wish you all the best, and I'll be waiting for my invitation to the dinner party, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.